Hi everybody, so I felt inspired today to do a video and share with you my experience that I went through, and I refer to it as my ego death. And to me, it has been such a powerful transformation from the person I was to the person I am today. And if you don't know who I am, my name's Saira. I'm a doula, healer, tarot reader. I launched my business, My High Priestess, last year in October. And that has been a journey in itself to get to even launching my business, but even finding out what my purpose was another profound moment in my journey to realizing who I am, basically. And that actually was one of the main questions that I started asking myself when I went through my own ego death. Now, I'll just backtrack a little bit for those who are not aware of my journey, and I have got videos about this, so you can go back and check that out. So I was somebody who loved to socialise, I liked to drink, I was a DJ, I, really enjoyed the lifestyle of just having fun, basically, a bit of a party girl, some might say. And now I'm somebody who is raw vegan, who doesn't drink, who's very focused on their health, their microbiome, and has now found their purpose in life, and transitioning out of the corporate world as well. So it has been such a journey, but how it happened was I made the choice and I surrendered, and I have done a video on this as well where I had a quantum leap, where I shifted from being a version of myself that drank to, in a moment, surrendering and being a version of myself that didn't drink. And that was 2.5 years ago, and I haven't touched a drop of alcohol since. And I know it was a quantum leap because every single part of me shifted into a new version when I literally surrendered. And I've got a video on that as well, so please check that out. But when I'd obviously shifted into this new version of myself, and I had then, by this point, I was already raw vegan, so I wasn't going out having dinners and going to restaurants or going to pubs for that matter. I wasn't going to the pub to drink. I was transitioning out of some friendship groups because it just wasn't aligned anymore. And then I literally started asking myself, who am I? Like, I'm not Saira who drank, who socialises, who does all the things that I used to do. And it was actually a really scary moment. And I remember being in my kitchen. It was like, it was like a loss of identity. The person that I identified with, that persona, that character, because that's what it was, I was gone. I couldn't identify with the person that I was anymore. And it was a part of me died. And I had to, this is why I call it an ego death, because this version of me literally died, the version of Saira. And then I didn't, obviously the emergent of who I was becoming with being a doula, healer, tarot reader, and launching my business hadn't happened yet. It hadn't come to fruition. I hadn't manifested it yet. So I was in this point in my journey where I'd literally was grieving that version of myself that was no longer there. And it was a really sad moment for me because it was like, I don't know who I am. It was quite nerve-wracking. It was quite scary because I'd lost this version of myself, and I actually felt like I was grieving a version, that part of me. I genuinely thought that. And what came about after that was I'd lost the identity. I'd lost the identity of who I was. I couldn't relate to any of the other things that my friends were doing anymore, with the drinking, with even going out for dinner. I was already raw vegan at this point, but I hadn't set up my business. I hadn't figured out, that I wanted to be a doula. But so what did I start asking myself? I started organically asking myself, who am I? And that was the really profound moment for me, because I actually didn't know who I was. And so I had to start asking myself, who am I? Like, I remember being in my kitchen going, I don't know who I am. Like, I literally was like, who am I? And it was like a really profound moment because I'd never actually asked myself that question. And it really just, I kept asking it. And then slowly I started to just take these little nuggets of inspiration that started to come forward. I started to follow it. These synchronistic chain of events that started to come to me and started to come into my reality, whether that was to do a course, whether that was like to meet somebody or connect with somebody, I started to follow it. I started to act on it, even though there was resistance. And then that has led me to doing a wealth mastermind course that was way out of my price range because it was a high ticket event. And I had the nudge to do it. And this high ticket event was all around how to help you bring your conscious business, how to focus on your conscious business. But I'm still in the corporate world. So at that point, it's like, I didn't have a conscious business. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. But other part of this course was to work on your lack programs. Now, I knew I had a lot of lack. I knew that was deep within me and I wanted to work on that. And the woman who was doing the course, I really connected with her. She'd actually moved from Glastonbury to Brighton. Her name was Jen McCarty. And I just took the leap of faith and I did it. And if it wasn't for that course, I never would have figured out that I wanted to be a doula. I then, in that workshop or 4-week mastermind, I then connected with a woman in that course and we paired up as part of the coursework. And then we just started talking and I mentioned, I don't know even what I want to do. I don't even have an idea of where I'm going to go. Maybe I'm going to do something like hypnobirthing or maybe a doula, I said. I never even knew what a doula was, but I just said it. And every single part of this woman said, oh my God, that's it, it's a doula. So that then got me excited. We both got excited. We both got chills all over our bodies. And she's very energy sensitive as well and can connect to her intuition a lot more than I could back then. And she's clairsentient as well. So everything she was saying just resonated. And then after that, I started to take the steps, but I still kept asking myself, who am I? Because that is one of the profound, I think for most people and for a lot of people, they don't know who they truly are. They are being based on what other people expect of them. And that's not who they truly are. So it's kind of like we have all of these different masks on in all different scenarios. We have a mask on when we're with our parents. We have a mask on when we're with our children, with our friends, when we're in work. All different types of masks we wear in different situations. What happens when we strip all of those masks away? Well, then we get to the true self. Who are we then? And that's when we start to ask, who am I? And when you start to ask that, the universe will start to bring the evidence of who you actually are. And then when I started to learn about the doula stuff, I did a 2-hour introductory that I started taking these small actionable steps. Well, let me just check if I want to be a doula. Is it even in resonance with me? Is it in alignment with me? Let me just do this 2-hour introductory course. How do I feel off the back of that? Great, I feel amazing. All of it, tick, tick, tick. Everything I felt it was just like, yes, this is in alignment. It resonates. And then I just took small incremental steps. Then I organically followed the steps and got certified as a Reiki master. I was already doing tarot, but not professionally at that point. But then my branding came to me all synchronistically as well. And it all starts with the question, who am I? But it was all that ego death experience where I literally had to grieve that version of myself, then to even ask that question, who am I? And now I actually know, I know who I am. I really do know the person I am. And yeah, I might be a mother, I'm a daughter as well, and I'm a friend. But who am I really? Well, to me, I am a spiritual being having a human experience first and foremost. And I'm a human being having many different experiences at the same time, all different emotional experiences, but I don't identify myself with those emotional experiences. It's not who I am. Sometimes we can say, I'm angry, I'm sad. I'm not sad, I'm not angry, I'm just experiencing that. Because first and foremost, I know who I am, and I am a fractal of source, of the creator, the original creator of my soul. Some people refer that to God. So I'm first and foremost spirit, part of God, mother, father, God. And I know that 100%. So that is who I am. And I've been feeling that and knowing that, not just believing that and having a belief around it, but really, really knowing it in deep parts of my body. And it's a cellular, can't even say that word, knowing that's who I am. And now I know who I am, I now ask the question, who am I becoming? That has been the next phase in the questioning of me going into this self-inquiry mode. Who am I becoming? And that has been really profound, because I know who I'm becoming. I'm seeing who I'm becoming. I'm becoming more of who I was meant to be, which is the true authentic person. Well, not the person, the true authentic self, really, that is of service to others. And it's here to anchor more of that divine God source energy by doing the work that I'm doing, which is doing the work, doing the healing work, doing the tarot work, which is all about service to others. And that can show itself in many different ways. So for me, asking who am I becoming, I'm starting to see that more and more and more. And it's been one of my journal prompts this year. Last year was who am I? And this year is who am I becoming? And that has been, felt really resonant to me when I've been saying that. So I really wanted to just share that with you today, because I feel like it's one of the questions that we should all be asking ourselves, because when you ask yourself, who am I? You will get the answers. Parts of who you are not will start to fall away. Parts of who you think you are will start to fall away. And you'll start disidentifying yourself with the person you are trying to be for other people. And you'll realise that's not who you are. And that's who you, and you don't want to pretend anymore, because it doesn't feel in resonance or in alignment with the true self. You're constantly being guided to be more of who you truly are. But we are so stuck in this identification of the character or the persona that we have been creating for all of our lives. So it's time to break that down, really, and start to focus on who we truly are and who we want to be for ourselves, which is then in turn gonna allow us to support and be authentic for the greater good and be in service. Because when you're in service to others, you are coming from a place of more your authentic self. When you're in service to self, it's more of the character persona. So this is what the journey has been for me, and having that ego death experience was very profound. So I just wanted to share that with you, because it's been powerful for me going through that and asking those questions. So I hope this resonates. So please leave a comment and subscribe for more of my videos. I do recipes as well. And check me out on Instagram, where I share more of my content. It's Saira at my Head Priestess. And for any of my other offerings and services, I'll link all of that below. But yeah, I hope this has helped. Have a blessed day, everybody.